What's going on, guys? It's been a little while since I posted a video, so figured I should put something up. Have some news. I made the decision, wait. First, if the audio is bad, I can't have the mic connected, because when I do these, like, face-to-face kind of videos, I flip the little screen on the back of the camera up so I can, like, see where my face is in position of the lens. So when I do that, I can't use my Rode mic on the top because, like, it would be in the way. Unless I, like, route it to the side somehow. But either way, so if the audio is a little bad, sorry about that. But, back to the video. I made a crazy decision that I'm going to go with dual RTX 3090s, which are $1,500 cards. So the total's going to come up to somewhere probably around $3,500 with tax and the AIB cards because I'm not going to be going with the founders. And I'm going to be SLIing those cards. That required me to get I'll post it somewhere on the screen here, a 1600 watt power supply from EVGA that Forks from the Newegg server recommended to me, and he said it was on sale from EVGA B stock. With doing that, that's a lot of power, because I not only am going to be running that, but I also run a sleeper system that I have hooked up in there that's going to have an 850 watt power supply in it. So with both of those systems running at full load, that's a lot of power. So I had to do some looking in to see what kind of wires I had going to this thing's running. Audio's going to be bad, so I'm going to back up a little bit. But here's the box. Let me flip this around. So there's the electrical box. I'll get this open right quick. Alright, so here's the electrical box. Again, sorry for this audio. This thing's running right on side of me. I don't know how my voice is. But here's what the electric panel looks like right now. You can see here, if it'll focus, that there's a 15 amp breaker here. I have no idea how this audio is horrible. 15 amp breaker here, 15 here, and a 15 here. The rest of these are 20s. All the rest of these are 20s. Here's a 60, and that's for the AC, the big loud thing that's right under me, right? From what I looked at, these 15s each control the outlets that are in the rooms of my house, and the 20s are for like the refrigerator and microwave and the restrooms, which that's how it should be. Lock this back up. Alright. Back in frame here? Okay. So, after looking at that, you could see that there was 3 15 amp breakers, and the rest of them were 20s, and then there was the 60. So I'll show you in the house here what's going on with that. If I can go ahead and reposition. Alright, I'm back in the house here, and each one of those 15s again goes to the outlets in the house. From what I found out, every single outlet here, mind the mess, doing some laundry, every single outlet in here is on one 15 amp breaker. Not only that, but this TV plugged into a same 15 amp breaker that the outlets for my room are on, and there's 4 outlets in my room, so that makes 5. And this outlet in here, I don't want to go all the way in here, but there's an outlet down there. That one's also hooked up to this. So there's 6 outlets, and maybe more things that I don't know about, connected in this room. That's the sleeper I have hooked up right now because the 10900K build's out of commission because there's no graphics card in it at the moment. Waiting on 3090s. But, so what that meant is I can't have 850 from this guy and 1600 from this guy running on one 15 amp breaker. The total comes up to around 15.8 amps, which is over what, you know, is recommended to be pulled, and that might even trip it, because maybe not. But not only that, but there's 14 gauge wire running for the 15 amp breaker. The 20 amp breakers have 12 gauge wire, and the 60 amp one for the AC has like 10 or 8 or one of those. 14, from what I did, the max load it can pull is, or can carry, I should say, is 15 amps. Same thing with the breaker. Of course, it's 15 amps, you know, because it's a 15 amp breaker. The outlets in here, I'm sure, are 15 amp outlets as well. So everything's 15 amps. So since I can't run both, what I did was this. I wasn't going to call an electrician because, one, this is my mother's house, not my house. And two, that would have been like $1,000 because they would have had to come and run new wires to start with to the outlets, right? They would have had to come put new outlets in, which I could have done most of this, let me just add. And then they would have had to hook it up, put a new breaker and a 20 amp breaker into the actual breaker box. Forks also recommended that I should put like 220, 240 outlet and have that installed, but I'm not doing that either because, again, that's also expensive to do if I were to have someone come and do it and not risk doing it myself and possibly, you know, getting electrocuted. But, you know, so what I did to avoid all of that is I hooked this up. That yellow cord there, the lighting's horrible, a little better. I hooked this yellow cord up here, and this is a 12 gauge yellow cord. I have it routed going like this, that way it's nice and tucked out the way. Under, around, it wraps all the way around the entire room. Another little guy goes over, around, and then through here, and that is where the actual system is plugged in. So that's also kind of dark under there, but should be able to see it somewhat. This entire Blinken, or however you say that name, surge strip is plugged in with that, which comes from a completely separate circuit from another 15 amp breaker. So that way I can run sleeper on this one 15 amp breaker and have the big dual 3090s SLI'd running off of a completely separate 15 amp breaker. That way I don't risk burning the house down. So yeah, so that's what I did. That's the video. Just wanted to give an update on what I was doing, and I'll be sure to make another video once I have the dual 3090s installed and show some performance metrics on that and or the installation of it. I've never done SLI before, so it's going to be interesting. So anyhow, catch you guys later. Peace.